You're going to see me take my glasses on and off a lot. I'm going to actually try reading the prompter today. Good morning and welcome to All People's Church, Unitarian Universalist. My name is Marianne Clark and I am your co-celebrant this morning. Our Sunday service is a shared time of worship for all present as we gather for music, spoken words, a time of reflection, and inspiration as a religious community. Let us come together in a spirit of compassion and respect for ourselves and others attending the service. We especially welcome those who are visiting today. I'm not very good at this. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door where you can be placed on the mailing list to receive our weekly emails and a monthly newsletter. Before we continue on to worship, there are some announcements. Would you like to help bend Texas toward justice? That is a slogan of the Texas UU Justice Ministry, and it's a riff on the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Do you have an interest in working with the congregation to advance issues of social justice relative to the current session of our lawmakers in the Texas legislature? If so, you might be interested in going to Austin for a lobby day sponsored by the Texas UU Justice Ministry. Mark your calendar for Monday, March 13th. Our DRE, Sarah Beryl Harrop, currently serves in the Justice Ministry as its intern minister. Sarah is busy helping to organize this lobby day where UUs statewide will gather in Austin to put their faith into action. Stay tuned for more details in the Courier newsletter, and feel free to check in with Sarah, who will be happy to answer your questions. Our final announcement is the introduction of Lori, who is in the pulpit again this morning. I think this is the first time we've had the same guest speaker twice in a row. Lori King Nelson is a cradle-roll disciple growing up in the Fort Worth First Christian Church, the church her family has called home since 1917. Lori is a member of Pastors for Texas Children and is active in the Disciples of Christ community, filling the pulpit in area disciples' churches, volunteering at disciples' food pantries, and occasionally providing church services for Juliet Fowler communities. She is a lifelong learner, an artist, and an avid traveler, having lived across the U.S. and internationally. Lori holds a Bachelor of Science in Comparative Religious Studies from Texas Wesleyan University and a Master of Divinity from Wright Divinity School at TCU. Lori currently serves as Program Director of the Dallas Furniture Bank, a nonprofit that provides the basic furniture needs for people transitioning from homelessness and other crises. Lori has 4 children, 3 grandchildren, a flock of chickens, an enormous pot-bellied pig named Crispy Bacon, and a duck named Crackers. Lori, welcome back to All People's Church. And now please settle while Misha plays the Chopin Prelude number 1, yes? Impromptu number 1, sorry. Chopin Impromptu number 1. Thank you, Misha.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So beautiful. I always know when something is really reaching me deep inside when it ends, and all I can do is just take a deep breath. It's wonderful. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me back here. I love coming here. Before I begin the responsive call to worship, I do want to tell you that I want you to know that the person who began to write this sermon that I will give this morning was not the same person who had to install a new printer on my computer late last night to get a hard copy of it. It was a burden I was not prepared to bear, and a future I did not anticipate. May my future words always reflect the sermon writer in me and not the printer installer that lurks just under the surface. It wasn't pretty. Will you join me in the responsive call to worship? I set my face to Kunlun Mountain and await the dawn of eternal peace. I stand here in celebration of a new day. I wait in the dark for the coming of eternal love. See, there, the shining ones rise. I stand in celebration of a new day. The darkness of Shunya is no more. The shining ones reach for glory. I stand in celebration of a new day. This sacred path is filled with light. This moment is filled with possibilities. Again, I stand here and celebrate a new day.
We invite you now to rise in body or spirit for the chalice lighting, the opening hymn, and the spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting today is by our Minister Emerita, Marjorie Montgomery. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift. Please join in singing the opening hymn, number 163. Sorry, I lost it. For the earth forever turning, number 163. I'm never going to get to do this again. Thank you. Misha will first play it all the way through so that we'll be familiar with the tune. is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated.
Do we have any children that would like to come forward? All are welcome here. You don't need an invitation. Yeah, if I don't sit on the steps, I won't get back up. So, today we're talking about the new year, and I know that we celebrated our new year several weeks ago because we used the Gregorian calendar. Other countries and faiths use, they also use a Gregorian calendar, but in their culture and for their festivals and holidays, they use the lunar calendar. So that puts their new year a couple of weeks later from ours. So just like any other new year, we stop and think about how our year was previously and what we would like to make changes to make it to make us a happier person and to be more of a benefit to the world. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. They're really easy, and I'll start. So the first one is I've had to think of something I don't want to do anymore, and it's not wash the dishes. It's something I don't want to do anymore is to be something I'm not. I want to be real and genuine in everything I say and that I do. And then something I want to do. I want to travel more this year because that's something I love very much, and I've kind of put it to the side with the pandemic. And I want to get back out there and see more of the world and meet more people. So what is something you don't want to do this year? Thank you. Let people tell me how to dress. Absolutely. You be you, because you're perfect just as you are. Yep. Okay, well, what is something you do want to do? Maybe something new or something you've been thinking about trying out? What's something new?
I want to start babysitting.
Start babysitting more. Nice. How about you? Exist. There we go. Now, what's something y'all don't want to do this year?
I don't want to be told how I'm supposed to act or feel in a relationship.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
At 16, I can be 16. Well, you're not 16.
What's something you don't want to do this year?
I don't want to be judged or judged.
Don't want to be judged or judge.
Or judged.
What's something you do want to do?
I would like to see people. I would like to help people, which I try to do. Be kinder to one another and to our poor lady friends.
Ah, yes. What's something you would like to do?
Traveling is one of those features right now, as I am journeying across countryside in Texas.
Okay. So you want to continue your travels. Fantastic. So these are Year of the Rabbit, and there's something special inside there for each of you. And so I am one that I want to make sure that you know that the most important thing to take care of is you. Yeah. You take care of you. So this is for you. When you visit with a friend, and I'm just going to send 2 of these out with each of you, okay? Can you? So one of these you can keep for yourself, or you can give both of them away to someone you care about, or someone you want to wish a new beginning for. So, and I think I even have extras of these if you want an extra beautiful coin to share with somebody, okay? Because they're different coins inside there. Okay. Go have a new beginning.
I don't think the children are going out, but shall we sing the children out? Or not. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to many of us, community of memory of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. It is our custom to share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week. We do this on a quarterly basis for a nonprofit or charitable organization. Our board has designated that our current Share the Plate recipient is the Center for Transforming Lives, or affiliated with the YWCA. From their website, they are an organization that works side by side with women and their children to disrupt the cycle of poverty throughout Tarrant County. The offering will now be accepted. Will the ushers please come forward?
Chen Chen's second book, Your Emergency Contact Has Experienced an Emergency, is forthcoming from BOA Editions in September 2022, so I guess it's out. His debut, When I Grow Up, I Want to Be a List of Further Possibilities, was longlisted for the National Book Award and won the Tom Gunn Award, among other honors. His work appears in many publications, including Poem a Day and 3 editions of the Best American Poetry. He has received 2 Pushcart Prizes and fellowships from Kundiman, the National Endowment for the Arts, and United States Artists. He was the 2018 through 2022 Jacob Ziskind Poet in Residence, and currently teaches for the low residency MFA programs at New England College and Stone Coast. Set the garden on fire. My friend's new neighbors in the suburbs are planting a neat row of roses between her house and theirs. Her neighbors smile and say the roses are part of a community garden project. That's all. But they whisper, too. Whisper plans for trees, a wall of them. They plant rumors that her house is hiding illegals when it's aunts and uncles visiting. They grow tall accusations fed by talk radio that her house was bought with drug money, not 17 years of wok sizzling, people serving, delivering, filing, people scrubbing, refilling, running, her family running the best restaurant in town. Like with your family, my friend says, once we moved in, they stopped calling us hard-working immigrants. Friend, let's really move in. Let's plunge our hands into the soil, plant cilantro and strong tomatoes, watermelon and honey-hearted cantaloupe. Good things, sweeter than any rose. Let's build the community garden that never was. Let's call the neighbors out. Call for an orchard, not a wall. Trees with arms free, flaming into apple, peach, pear, every imaginable edible fire. Come, friend, neighbor, you, come set the garden on fire with all our hard-earned years, tender labor of being here, ceaseless and volcanic making of being here together.
Please stand as you are willing and able for the singing of our middle hymn, number 183, The Winds of Change Forever Blow. At this time in our service, we pause. Oh, please be seated. Would you like to sit down? Oh my, okay. At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week, there's a journal outside the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write a message of memory or hope. Also, at any time during our service, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here at the side of the chancel. Today, from our book of Memory and Hope, we include the following: prayers for those murdered and injured in the mass shooting in Monterey Park, California. Happy Chinese New Year to one and all. Hope all us animals on this planet find a way to coexist this year. Love from Joe Burnham, and don't forget to feed me. And Ash got into the all-region choir. Let us also include in our circle of concern those beyond our immediate community. Heather Cock Richardson recently wrote, "People are wrong to say we have no heroes left. Just as they've always been, they are all around us, choosing to do the right thing no matter what." I would like to recognize our heroes. And in this congregation, you know who you are. Those people in our midst that in small or large ways help to initiate much needed change in our communities and in our world. Let us open our minds and hearts to the place of quiet, to the silent prayer for the healing of pain and the soft, gentle coming of love. Please now settle comfortably and pause for a few moments of quiet meditation to hold and uplift the sorrows and celebration, both spoken and unspoken, among us. And after that pause, Misha will play some nice music for us.
Thank you. When I was speaking with the children, I think upon further reflection, what I should have said I do not want to do this year might be that person that handled the printer. So I'm going to think long and hard about what my list of do-overs will be for this coming year. Gong hei fat chow. Wishing you great happiness and prosperity. Today is the beginning of a new year for many countries, cultures, and faiths. While China is celebrating the year of the rabbit, Vietnam is celebrating the year of the cat. Either way of celebrating means letting go of the past in order to welcome a new future. Fresh starts. Releasing what does not help us flourish. Releasing what inhibits growth. Settling up with what was in order to prepare for what can be. The now and the not yet. Life is full of opportunities for new beginnings. T.S. Eliot said, "What we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from." A few months ago, I was visiting with Kendra Weddle, and I asked her how she made the choice to transition from university professor to theologian in residence at North Haven. I've so admired her courage as she took this leap of faith into the unknown. And as I too was in a period of great change, feeling as though I were just drifting in no real direction, I wanted to know how she knew which direction to go. She said that reading Transitions by William Bridges helped her. And what I've learned from this book is, just as T.S. Eliot said, beginnings are endings, and endings are beginnings. Can't have one without the other. And it takes courage to look at what it means to let go in such a way that we are spiritually and emotionally free to see all the possibilities for our future. To let go in such a way that we're able to connect with and love the true self at the center of our lives. But the thought of ending, the reality of actually letting go, that has always caused so much anxiety for me. Letting go. But what are we meant to let go of? I mean, we're typically so invested into hanging on to, preserving, even grasping and clutching, that the idea of letting go can seem foreign, unobtainable, even dreamlike. Daphne Rose Kingma wrote, "In the 10 Things to Do When Your Life Falls Apart, we're not used to letting go. We're used to hanging on for dear life. We hang on for lots of reasons. Because something is familiar, because the past is a known commodity, and the future is a question mark. Because we lack imagination and can't conceive of a future better than the past we've had. Because blankies, no matter how ragged and trashed they are, and relationships, no matter how complete they already are or inappropriate they have become, are a comfort to us. We hang on because we've been taught that persistence is good and that we should never give up. Or we're simply afraid of the free fall, afraid of coming alive as ourselves. Perhaps that's it. Perhaps we're afraid of coming alive as ourselves. Eugene Peterson writes in his biblical translation, The Message, Listen carefully. Unless a grain of wheat is buried in the ground, dead to the world, it is never any more than a grain of wheat. But if it is buried, it sprouts and reproduces itself many times over. In the same way, anyone who holds on to life just as it is destroys it. But if you let it go, reckless in your love, you'll have it forever, real and eternal. That's pretty clear. Anyone who holds on to life just as it is destroys that life. If you let it go, reckless in your love, you'll have it forever. Which means to me, if I'm able to let go of that to which I cling, then I'll free myself up to receive so much more. This life I alone am called to live. Or, in the words of Kingma, hanging on is fear, letting go is hope. Holding on is believing that there's only a past. Letting go is knowing there's a future. In letting go, we surrender the weight of our burdens and find the lightness of being with which to begin again. We open a door for the intervention of the divine. In our spiritual depths, we all have a profound sense of the inappropriateness of hanging on to stages of life and ways of being that no longer serve us. We know they're no longer part of our essence, and yet, most of the time, it's very hard to move away from them. So if we're able to let go, we open up space for new and even wonderful things to occur. And yet, as Kingma notes, that first step, letting go of the person, thing, situation, or way of being in the world to which we cling, is pretty hard. So I ask again, how do we let go? And what are we meant to let go of? Well, I'm going to start my answer by sharing a story from Kingma's book, which I found very helpful and relatable. Laura and Sarah had been best friends for years. They met in college, and their friendship continued through Laura's marriage. It continued through Sarah's string of boyfriends, and then through the hectic years when Laura had 2 children and subsequently got divorced. And when Sarah, by then a successful career woman, adopted a baby. Then suddenly the dynamic of their relationship changed. Once Laura was through her divorce and moving on with her life, Sarah no longer seemed to want to spend any time with her, and Laura was devastated by this. It seemed as if Sarah had only liked her when she was a basket case. And now that she was better, Sarah no longer wanted to be friends. After months of no change, and despite her many attempts to connect, Laura decided that, out of love and respect for herself, it was time to let go. Her first impulse was to write a snippy letter, first telling Sarah how mad and sad she was, and then explaining how fabulous and changed she was, so Sarah would know what a great friend she was missing out on. But as she worked on the letter, Laura realized that rather than letting go, she was actually holding on to the way it had once been, to the way she wanted it to be. It took several drafts and a lot of tears before she was able to write a simple letter of release and farewell. But by the time she'd finished, she felt a great sense of peace. What I find so very real and painfully true about this story is that Sarah was unable to let go. because she was holding on to both the way it had once been and the way she wanted it to be. And yet, it no longer was. This story needn't have been about a friendship. This story could have been about my marriage. It could have been about any number of people I've left behind in my life, any jobs I've let go of. It could have just as easily been about romantic relationships, or a return to one's hometown, or any other experience of change in our lives. In any case, the way it once was will never be the way it is now. Life is change. So how do we let go? I believe creation provides a model for us. The natural world is ever changing, ever renewing, always releasing what is no longer needed to make room for future possibilities. Old mountains crumble, new ones are born. One species becomes extinct to make room for a vibrant new life form. A star is born when atoms of light elements are squeezed under enough pressure for their nuclei to undergo fusion. Change, letting go. Creation is willing to let go. But how do we, and what do we let go of? Well, we're going to address the second question first. We let go of those things that are getting in the way of our real and eternal life. We let go of those things that are keeping us from living the life only we can live. We let go of everything that is preventing us from having a joyful, unencumbered, and free relationship with each other and the natural world. We let go of all the things that stand between us and true love, and us and our true selves. We also let go of everything that's not ours. We put down all those burdens that aren't ours to carry. And if we don't know whether they're ours to carry, we need to ask. As a dear friend recently said to me, if it feels too heavy, then it's not yours. Now, I can imagine that those of you who are carrying burdens that you did not choose, a sick family member, loss of employment, failed relationship, you might be thinking, is she kidding? I'd set this burden down in a heartbeat if I could, but I can't. And I hear you. I do hear you. And I can assure you that there are burdens in my own life which I didn't choose. But what I also want to say, and what I hope that you and I will hear, is this. You don't have to carry those burdens alone. In fact, and I know it may be hard to believe this, you don't have to carry them at all. Yeah, you may still have to deal with them. You may still have to care for an aging spouse, or work through a contentious divorce, or accept the loss of a job. But you do not have to carry them. You do not have to hold your burdens alone. You can let go, because the great power of the universe is quite capable of holding all of our pain, insecurity, frustration, fear, anger, anxiety, and dread, if only we are willing to let them go. And the good news is that letting go of the burdens we're not meant to carry frees us up for that which we are meant to embrace. As Sister Joan Chittister writes in Scarred by Struggle, Transformed by Hope, when we lose or relinquish something, we remain confident that God knows what we need and has other good and even better things to give us. To give up something is not a zero-sum game in which there is only further and further loss. Rather, it is to give up one thing, even good things, to gain something greater. How do you let go? Any way you can. Get help. Hire the men with the truck to haul your junk away. Trick yourself. Find an ally. Hold hands when you leap from the burning building. Pray for grace. Cry. Practice till you get good at it. Give things away. Throw things away. Sell everything you can. This is all just a show anyway. We're on our way to somewhere else. So why be bogged down with 14 irrelevant people, 2 tons of useless junk, and a brain full of worry? When really you're just practicing to be a part of an intergalactic light stream of love. Don't hang on. It's hard to fly with bags of concrete tied to your feet. Let go. Let go. So let's practice letting go. Pick up the rock you found in your chair when you came in this morning. And if there's not one at your chair, there should be one on a surrounding chair. I want you to pick it up and hold it. Feel the heft of it. Grasp it tightly. Touch its smooth sheen. This represents your past, your burden, your worry. Now imagine for a moment you're saying goodbye to the whole of your life. And as you do, ask yourself, if I were dying right now, what would be the one thing, person, or way of being I'd wish that I had already let go? Your house? A certain relationship you've hung on to? An addiction that's running you? Possessions that don't serve you? A fantasy of what your life should be like? The job you're scared to leave? Then once you've identified that which you wish to let go, ask yourself what new beginning you want this ending to open up for you. Yeah, ask yourself for help. It's okay. Put it out there to the universe and listen for a response. Focus your attention on your heart and feel what it might be like to let this person or situation or way of being go and reach for something new. What is the freedom that afterward you might experience? And is there a first step that you could take today? Let that rock represent the burden you are ready to set down. Take the rock with you when you leave today and set it down wherever and whenever the time is right. Now, bear with me. I want you to close your eyes and allow a new year to give you the courage to release the past and move boldly into a new future. Close your eyes and hear these words. In this moment, I let go of all thoughts and concerns. When I let go, I am able to receive. When my hands are formed into tight fists, I cannot open my hands to receive anything. When I hang on to tight control, when I close off my heart and my spirit, I cannot receive blessings meant for me. I let go to receive these blessings. Letting go in this moment, I receive the loving presence around me and within me. Let me be reminded to let go when I'm feeling overwhelmed, that I may receive peace. Let me be reminded to let go when I feel fear, so that in fear's place I may receive love and courage. I let go of problems and challenges in order to receive guidance and clarity. I let go and trust. I will not fall. I will not fall. I let go and trust in the still, small voice inside of me. Let me be reminded to release what burdens me, trusting that the future holds endless possibilities. You can open your eyes now. Friends, it's a new-ish year, and every moment holds an opportunity for a fresh start. And thanks be to God for that. Will you lift your hymnals and open to number 318 as we sing the closing hymn, We Would Be One.
Never has it been more true than now. We extinguish this flame, but sparks within us remain alight. From each of us, in our supposed solitude, the signals buzz and hum, sparkling through space to one another, connecting us invisibly but palpably. We are one, and from every window, our light shines.
And now service has ended. Wishing you 4 seasons of peace. May 2 blessings come to your door And may you be an unlimited source of light for those whose paths you cross. Join us for coffee and conversation in the back.